Hello, this is Moos Jacobs for DeBarra Spoken Word with Matthew Geden. Shall I introduce you, Matthew, or
you can if you
introduce
like. Yeah, well, why not?
All titles. Okay, because Matthew is or has been the poet laureate of Cork County Council and Bandon City, the town of Bandon. Are you still both? Do you still have both titles?
The poet laureate thing was based around Poetry Day back in September, actually. So that was just a short-term thing. But I'm still writer in residence for Cork County Library and Arts Service. So I'm still doing lots of workshops, all online at the moment, Moser. But there's no harm in that. But hopefully doing some workshops actually physically soon in libraries. So that's part of my brief.
And you're obviously a published poet, and you're also, I think you teach at UCC MA Creative Writing.
Yeah, that's right. I'm teaching on the UCC MA Creative Writing course. So I'm doing a poetry workshop there, which is great. I also teach at the College of Com, doing a kind of beginners writing workshop on a Tuesday evening there, and various other bits and pieces. I mean, the teaching is great, but it's the writing that's the important thing, Moser.
Okay, yeah, because it's interesting. Actually, I didn't realize that, but I started with naming your titles, and you're going to do a workshop for the DeBarra Spoken Word on the 9th of February 2022. Entitled "How Good Is Your Title?" Perhaps it's about titles. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What's the importance of titles?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I had an alternative title to the workshop as well, called Untitled, Is This a Title? But anyway, we'll go down that route on the night. But yeah, I mean, I think it's an area that poets and writers in general kind of sometimes overlook how important a title can be to a piece of writing. And we're going to look at various ways of titling your work and various things to consider when you are titling your work. You know, like, for instance, a title obviously has to grab attention. I mean, that goes without saying. And I know that from working in bookshops for many years, that something with a good title will automatically draw a potential reader. So you'll glance around and you'll see a title and it will grab you for whatever reason. So it's really important to have a good title. It's similar with poems, short stories, songs even. A good title is so vital. Yeah, I mean, there's other things to consider, like what comes first, the chicken or the egg, the title or the story. You know, for some people, a story develops out of a particular title or a poem. And I've had that experience myself, where a title is stuck in my mind and the poem kind of grows from that. Other times the title is the very last thing that you put down on paper, that you actually write the piece first and then consider the title. A title has to be apt. It has to fit the particular piece of writing. So titles can also change over time. As the piece develops, your original title may suddenly not work or not be as relevant. So you may have to go back and re-look at the titles. A title can add numerous layers to a piece of writing. It can add an extra meaning, and we'll be looking at a couple of poems where I feel that the title gives the poem a whole extra dimension, which is really interesting. Is the title original is another thing that you need to consider as well. Obviously, you can't write a novel and call it The Great Gatsby, or Pride and Prejudice. It's been done before, but there are lots of titles, you know, that you can use again that are original. So we'll be looking at that. And title also has to be memorable. Again, particularly with novels, I think the amount of times when I was a bookseller, the amount of times I had people come in with completely wrong titles for books, and I was expected to find the book. You'd be amazed at the variations you can get. So if you can get a memorable title, you have more chance of getting your reader to come in and buy your book and order your book. You know, so little things like that we'll be considering on the evening and talking about, and hopefully we'll manage to get a bit of a group discussion going on some of these ideas and issues.
And you're also going to do a workshop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we'll get a chance to make our own titles and to compare titles and to try and look at different types of titles. So, you know, there are very simple titles, and then there are much more complicated ones. So, you know, you can have a title that directs the reader to look at a particular theme. You can have a humorous title. You can have the first line as a title. It often works very well in a poem.
I thought it wasn't allowed to have the first line or the last line as a title.
Everything's allowed, Moser. Everything's allowed. If it
Okay.
works. If it works.
Okay, one question, but you don't, if the answer is yes, you don't have to tell me now, but have you ever had a real title problem?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's true.
Yeah, if you have an example, maybe you can give it on the night because it's too good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's a specific one that immediately jumps to mind, but mostly I find I choose a title early and stick with it as much as I can. But occasionally I will sort of, as I said earlier, come to the realization that the title no longer fits the poem. Yeah, usually there's always a way around it. There's always a solution with a title.
Do you act as an agony uncle for title problems?
Not officially, Moser, but I could be persuaded. You know, as I say, some people are very good at picking out titles. Other people really struggle, and I think those people who really struggle are often overthinking it. They're trying too hard. Sometimes first thought is best thought, and often the original title is the one that you should go back to. But you know, everything, every rule has a you know, can be broken. So yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Matthew. We'll stick with this. I just want to ask if people can join your workshops? Is there a possibility, and how do I find out about that if they want to join a poetry circle in Cork, either online or live?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest way would be to contact me directly, or possibly you can do that through my email, possibly through the Cork County Library and Arts Office as well. Okay. They would be able to direct you to me and to whether there are openings in the workshops. But yeah, I'm always open to new members of these collectives and workshops, and hopefully we'll be running some brand new workshops later in the year as well.
That's great, because I can vouch for their value, and they're really enjoyable because I've been to a couple of them.
Thank you, Moser. Yeah.
It's great. Okay, thanks very much, Matthew. Look forward to seeing you on the 9th of February 2022 on Zoom. And if you want to know how to join this workshop, look below this video in the show more part. Thank you.